All right, guys, we are back and I'm home. Woo. Let's get it, okay? Man, it was so amazing these past 7 days. I don't know if you guys caught the videos that I've been posting, but it's been incredible, man. It's been incredible. What a serene, transformative, mind-altering journey that I've been on. And I just want to, shout out to my father for hosting the retreat. I went on a Vajrayana retreat for 7 days, and I came back with some very powerful practices that I'm going to continue daily. And today we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic. I just want to give a little brief recap of my trip. It's so interesting from monkeys slapping each other to, four people on a rickshaw to, yeah, this was like going to the Bishwanath temple, like giving the offerings, waiting in line like long period of time and then getting rejected by an Agori because I wanted to take a selfie with it. But overall, I was on a spiritual retreat, right? So my mind was equipped to handle all of the chaos of these large crowds. And it was an amazing trip, man. I just connected back to my roots. It felt like a primal deja vu, honestly. That's why we're talking about primal awareness today, because honestly, primal awareness is so important. And we're going to talk about it further in today's topic. Okay. So, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Let me edit these settings so we can get started. So, Makara, all relations. Let's go. All right. Man, it's strange not doing a live for a while, huh? Time to gain back the momentum. All righty then. All righty then. Let's get started. Okay. So this is I call this one a call to primal awareness to defeat the darkness, tapping into Blissapline as Primal Sutra. So there's this idea of Blissapline, right? The bliss of discipline, where we have to understand that the word discipline comes from disciple, usually disciple of Christ. But let's just look at it like it's a disciple of this path, right? Primal Sutra. So what are some key aspects of primal awareness? Okay. One, okay, let's talk about it. Class is now in session, okay? Class is now in session. Okay, so primal awareness is primarily about instinctual intelligence. Okay. What in the world is instinctual intelligence? Instinctual intelligence, it's the sharp survival-driven awareness that humans and animals have naturally, right? So your body has an ability to sense danger, opportunity, and alignment with the environment, right? You notice that when your senses heighten, like your sense of sight or hearing or touch, and you have an intuitive knowingness that what plans of action that I have to take in order for my survival, in order for my growth, in order for my spiritual evolution, right? And so this is number one. Number two is mind body harmony. Okay. Now, mind body harmony is integrating the bodily intelligence, right? It doesn't solely rely on the mind. It's the awareness that comes when the mind is quiet and the body is leading. So in flow states, this synchronicity allows for the peak performance to occur, right? Like whether you have a creative work to do, physical action, okay, some kind of spiritual practice or ritual that you're doing, it takes this mind body harmony, mind and the body working together, okay, and connecting, coinciding, creating opportunities for each other. So each helps each other grow, kind of like the divine masculine, divine feminine, right? One is the soil out of which the other grows, right? And so at its core, This is also about a connection to the natural. And this doesn't necessarily just mean to nature and the natural world, but it's also about being in tune with the season cycles and energies of the earth, just like the ancestors were, right? They had this kind of wiring in to whatever the weather, the environment, the season told them. And there could be different energetic or even karmic or cycles happening, right? Or astrological themes happening. I know tomorrow we're going to be doing a ritual. One second, I'm just cleaning this microphone a little bit. My apologies if this is making some noise. Um, so we have to make decisions in a more harmonious way, okay? Not just a purely heady approach from our intellect, but more so tapping into the energetic sensitivity, right? Because on a metaphysical level, this means that we can feel the energy of people, places, and situations, right? You know, you can be a highly sensitive person and be tuned in, wired in with spidey senses and still be a warrior, okay? I don't think people have talked about this, but I think it's really important that we have intuition and compassion, but we also don't take anybody's shit, right? We're not going to let people crumble over our boundaries and like use us as a doormat, essentially, right? At Primal Sutra, we take a stand for, you know, self-preservation, self-protection, not from like a defensive ego gesture, but more so, hey, we gotta align with our own deep presence and survival, right? Being fully attuned to the now without distractions from technology, different thoughts of the past, worries about the future. It's more so an intense focus on the current situation, which allows you to tap and wire into the flow state and get more done, right? Just you get so much more done when you're tapped in and wired in rather than you're worrying about how you're appearing or if you're trying to be performative or something like this, right? So the next one is very important, I think, and it's an integration of light and shadow. Okay. Now, this is primarily going to help us understand things like fear, aggression, lust, you know, these primal drives which we all have. And we have to acknowledge it and integrate these shadow aspects, right? The awareness here is not that these forces aren't to be suppressed, but understood and then harmonized, fine, right? So there's no split between them, the light and the dark. They're fused into one being. And it expresses itself in a very, very healthy way, right? Having emotional and mental and physical intelligence, okay? And energetic intelligence, more so, okay? Instinctual intelligence. So, on a deeper spiritual level, primal awareness ties to practice like shamanism or energy work, right? Because when you're more attuned to subtle shifts within yourself and your environment, you can then tune in on a deep spiritual level, also an expansive level, right? Across communities and so forth. So in performance, primal awareness can help you sharpen your focus and reaction times, but also your decision making, which allows for more spontaneous action to occur. You guys get that? So instead of seeing obstacles like, oh, this is something to be controlled or eliminated, I see this as an enemy, you know, conquer and divide. Instead of that mentality, right, we have to change that, right? We have to really change that and get out of this paradigm. If we truly want to battle the darkness, we have to understand and respect their plan. They've got a certain plan, right? And if you respect their plan, you get more wisdom because you understand the more you get angry about it, the more you get stressed out about it, the more you get frustrated about it, they win, right? They auto win. You guys get that? Give me a thumbs up if you guys get that. Okay. So this is a super important aspect, right? That I think a lot of the times is very, very overlooked or underrated. Okay. So primal awareness is the key to accessing flow. This is where you're in complete alignment and action becomes just effortless because you're not thinking about what you need to do. You just do it intuitively, naturally. You just do it. Okay. So instead of seeing obstacles as something to be controlled, we see them as mirrors. Every challenge is a lesson in balance. Back to harmony again, back to synchrony again, right? It's about tapping into the zone where you perform in ease and joy, and you trust in the natural timing and synchronicity instead of forcing outcomes to happen. Okay? Try to force your way to success or flow your way to success. What are you trying to do? Trying to build relationships with people? Yeah, I know Tony Robbins said it. Okay, we get what we tolerate. But you got to build relationships with challenges, people, and competitors by understanding their essence. We got to have connection over separation. This is how we're going to destroy the darkness. Okay. This is a shamanic approach. You tune into the energies at play and you work with them harmoniously, not against them. So at Primal Sutra, you're aware that every part of yourself or your environment is part of a larger interconnected system. So when you align your own chakras, energies, and thoughts, that leads to influencing the world, external world, without the need for this aggressive action taking that's going to like burn you out, right? We've all been there. Give me a thumbs up if you've been there, right? You just work, and then you burn out. And then you don't go to work for a week, right? Has that ever happened to somebody? So this neo-shaman warrior approach is where you blend an ancient technique with a modern day productivity tool, okay? And this is what we highly suggest on this channel, okay? So contemplating really, right, on this to understand that materialism can drain our vital energy, right? Now, I'm not saying materialism is like something that's completely bad, but I'm saying we have to restore our vitality, right? Because only then can we break out of this consumerism conditioning, right? Because this aligns with the mission to combat that spiritual entropy, right? And awaken the flow within. So there is this spiritual kind of battle that's happening, right? Between the higher consciousness of the light and the lower materialistic forces of the darkness. So what I want you to understand this as is we are warriors that resist the pull of dark forces by cultivating Blissapline, right? By cultivating Blissapline, this is our way out, right? What is something that you love doing? Something that you love doing that overrides everything else, right? It's so important to you that you can stop everything and just do that. That's transcending the limitations of the material world. You guys get that? And you're doing it through flow state mastery. You're doing it through tapping in, wiring it each day, feeling really good, right? Because self-discipline is essential for overcoming these lower impulses that we have, right? We all have these moments where we're just like, man, I just want to feel good, right? I just want to feel good. That's all I want. And our body craves it. Let me tell you this, guys. Ladies listening, men specifically, I want to speak to you. We have two fantasies, right, guys? We either want to go into a cave and be a monk, or we want to go into battle and be a warrior. But what if you can be a warrior monk? What if you could have the body's vitality and energy match and fight off these negative forces? So when you use practices like pranayama or maybe yoga or sacred movement practices, you activate your untapped potential through ecstasy, joy, flow states, right? Healing, reconnecting with higher consciousness. So we offer weekly experiences to help our participants connect more with these peak experiences or these moments so that we can transcend and resist the chaotic forces of modern society, right? So stress can seep in unnoticed, okay? It can break into your home unnoticed. Tension and stress can break into your home unnoticed, your internal world unnoticed. Okay. So you might be thinking that, oh, this is such a frustrating situation, but really you have a pent up stress cortisol reservoir that is making you like passively consume and just distracting yourself and, not tapping into ecstasy as a portal for higher consciousness. Some people talk about the mind virus, right? Where we use vanity, separation, fear. And we can use sacred practices for rejuvenating our energy, right? Like detox, for instance, right? Detoxifying the mind body system, or metaphysical toxins too, chakra clearing, breath work. Ryan G did a killer breath work. He just told me, did a massive breath work, insane breath work. We got to be able to use this. Got to be able to use this. So we have to embody through daily rituals, honor the self, right? Do you really honor yourself? Like when you look at yourself, do you really honor yourself, respect yourself? Because if you don't respect yourself, you're not going to encourage others, right? And again, don't wait to be encouraged, be the courage, right? Don't wait for someone to encourage you. You be it, you show it. Stop trying to seek for it and become it first, okay? This is a new insight. This is a new way of looking at this because most modern, spiritual warriors, they have to go on this metaphysical fight. And even the word fight itself, right, puts us into kind of a dangerous, a protective shell times, right? Like we have to fight against it. So let's look at it as play, right? Because there's also play fighting, right? So that's like Blissapline because it's joyous, it's spiritually attuned. It's also physically powerful. So we're looking at the fight. Fight as play and flight as transcendence. Okay? Really powerful, guys. So there's an age of Araman in materialism. Araman is Rudolf Steiner's way of in spiritual cosmology, where he says that this is like the ultimate extreme force of darkness, right? It's a satanic force, just disconnection from spirit, soulless intellect, just boxing things into you know, little boxes full of chocolates, full of ticky tacky. That's what it's doing, right? So if you ever watch the show Weeds, that's the beginning of that show. Anyway, the battle here is not a physical one. It's a war of consciousness. So you got to awaken to the manipulative nature of this age, man, because it can get to you, right? It's like a spiritual infection that hijacks your thoughts and emotions, leading to self-sabotage, leading to disconnection from your divine purpose. So you got to have psychic hygiene. Okay. We have clearing techniques for this. We even have a YouTube playlist, sort of sound file so you can listen to. If you're not a part of the tribe already, go click the Telegram link. Okay. You'll find us there. Activating your third eye to see through all of the gunk that's coming in your way, right? To actually perceive it, to understand your Luciferic impulse, right? You have a Luciferic impulse inside of you that represents your excess freedom. And when you get so ungrounded that you go up into the crown chakra, right? And you think you're some kind of a spiritual elite, and you get disillusioned and detached from your earthly responsibilities. So this is where Blissapline can teach us to avoid the pitfalls of this temptation, this Luciferic temptation, by actually staying connected to the earth while expanding your consciousness. So it means not losing yourself in abstract spirituality and strange concepts, but just staying grounded in the body, bringing it down here from up here in the headiness and allowing the higher and the lower realms to be trained and navigated. each other, right? In Zoroastrianism, there's this idea of Asha and Druj, right? Asha is like truth or the cosmic order of things, and Druj is like this falsehood or chaos, right? So it's always truth versus falsehood, right? Even the Hawkins scale and so forth, right? So this ancient battle for good and evil just reflects this universal struggle that we all go through, right? This is why we look at something like Durga Puja and we find that is coming up as a very important theme because, Durga is going against Mahishasur, which is the bull. But what I saw in the Durga Puja panels is the bull going like this and praying to Durga, and one of them, like, save me. And I found that very empowering for us Primal Sutra adepts because we know how to transform, and the demons that attack us, we can manipulate them and be able to speak to them in such a way where they become our guard dogs, right? They take our side instead of, you know, latching on to us, attacking us, and so forth. So this is a very powerful technology. And you can only get it from working with certain higher beings. But understand that this is a fight of rebalancing your chakras and living in accordance to the higher spiritual laws of nature. So by embodying the Asha, you become a pillar of light. Okay? You become a pillar of light. So you can spiritually biohack and use, dimethyltryptamine and all these different things. But I would say gain the insight to fight the forces of this unconsciousness that's happening. Understand how to protect your own energy, protect your own life force or prana, right? You got to protect your own prana. So escapism is another thing that comes through for me because that is sort of like we do it through entertainment, substances, and that's where the dark forces keep us in the state of numbness, right? It takes us away from our spiritual mission. It kind of diverts us. It's 222 right now, right? Feminine healing. So cultivating joy and flow states with intention can help you avoid the traps of escapism. I know a lot of, dance practitioners, martial artists, or people who do any kind of yoga or meditation practices. They don't do it to avoid reality, right? Instead, they use it to embrace life fully. Okay. Use spiritual tools not for escape. But as an embrace. Okay. There's really key points here, guys. All right. Really, really key points here. So intentional joy and flow, right, is an antidote to escapism. While entertainment and joy have their place, of course, right? Watch a Netflix series. Okay, that's fine. But is it bringing you away from your primal awareness? Or are you just, yeah, I'll just watch something stupid, that I don't have to use so much of my brain thinking about? Do you think like that? Bro, that's messed up, right? Because maybe you're just in your head all the time and you need something to ground you. Start using all these different things, these substances or other things, right? You just need that grounded. Some people you're using food to ground you into this reality, right? Some people are using porn to ground them into this reality. Others are using gambling to ground them into this reality. Others are using premarital sex and not premarital sex. I don't didn't mean to say that, but I mean like just overly abundant sex, right? With so many different people to try to get it. So what are you using as a crutch, as a coping mechanism that brings you away from your blissapline and your primal awareness? Just think about it, man, because I'm thinking about this right now. As I was on that retreat, I was on my blissapline, right? Got to wake up 5 every day, 5 a.m., 5:15, 5:30, around that time. Every day, right? Usually I sleep on the floor here, but there, of course, little homestay, so had a bed for once, okay, which is nice after a while, okay. Why do I sleep on the floor? I put myself in the frame and understanding of a Stoic, right? So I've been looking into Stoicism for a while from IMC Nation and so forth. We started this feast process, right, of understanding. They were the first Stoic temple back in San Jose. Now they're in Vegas, right? But this is a very, very powerful understanding of tapping into these different concepts like amor fati and vita met culpa. If you guys don't know anything about Stoicism, it's very, very powerful. You learn about it, right? Because we're the new warrior class. We have the spiritual and the physical excellence, right? It's not one or the other, right? You normally see spiritual people there. They don't have a good, physical body. Why is that? Why does it need to be like that? Right? Why can't you be healthy and spiritual? It makes no sense to us, right? So we decided to create a movement where we integrate both the material world and the spiritual world to serve as guides for others, because we have to become the great Jedis to really lead humanity back to their harmony again, right? So harmony, harmony, harmony. It's a big thing, man. Because as I was understanding, Buddhism is the middle path, right? I was really understanding the split between the very malnourished monk and one who's completely enveloped in worldly desires. It's not one or the other. We gotta stay in neutrality, in harmony. Okay. I think I even wrote it down. Did I? Hold on. I'm just going back to some of my notes I took during the trip. Pleasure is a reduction of unpleasant feelings of previous pain. Okay. The dimension of suffering changes when it comes down to us thinking of our future lives. Okay. Now, some say the New Age movement is satanic, but the truth is more nuanced. Satan has infiltrated parts of it, yes, but reacting in fear only helps that agenda, guys. Okay. Fear pulls us away from legitimate spiritual teachings. Like terrorism makes us cower in fear and stop living fully. So don't retreat to a simplistic version of spirituality, right? One where even Jesus, Krishna, or Buddha wouldn't have endorsed, right? True spiritual growth comes from embracing complexity, not oversimplifying out of fear. But also, we got to make it practical and concise. So, yeah, someone just sent me a message. Opportunities will come again when you find your spiritual courage, but you don't find it, you become it. That's what I'm saying. You got to become the character who is brave. What does the brave you even look like and feel like and sound like, bro? I don't even know, right? Because I haven't even explored that aspect of me yet. Maybe you're sitting there right now. But if you really are, you know, I have two moods, right? Defender of joy, commander of flow. I'm going to talk about this today on an Instagram post. But it's about understanding that I can remain at the center of these, and they both rely on each other. They're complementary, right? Just like the yin yang, they're complementary. They're not contradictory, right? Harmony. Okay. Laws, keys. Okay. What goal do you want to achieve? And how can you keep a more, laser focused on it today? Feel into your crown chakra deity right now. What do they need to receive from the universe to elevate your performance or purpose? Think about it. Let's tap into your throat chakra now. What important message do you need to communicate today? And how can you do so from a place of authenticity and flow? My heart chakra is associated with Bioenergetics, right? I was in Kashi, so just a little while ago. So invite that energy into your heart, right? How can you channel intensity into meaningful connection with those around you. Okay. When I ask Janus, I ask him, what project or task do I need to unlock this week? And how can I bring, more of myself to it, more of my aliveness, my whole entirety of my beingness, my character to it, right? Not just like little fragments of scattered attention here and there, like do a little bit here, do a little bit there, then go here, then go to this other place, and then just keep adding, and then scrolling midway to work, and then just doing all these other things, and then getting scattered and like losing your keys, and then like this happens sometimes. We get super like riddled with this energy, or this fearful energy. It's this divide and conquer, right? Gotta understand this. What about your sacral chakra? Can you find a balance between your desires and discipline? Can you allow your passion and restraint to fuel your creative power, right? So can you visualize yourself standing on, the earth's energy, and so the ley line closest to you is charging you up? Can you do that visualization? Can you ask your root chakra deity what physical action or habit? Hey, Chief Deno, how can I implement peak vitality today? Right? He gives me an answer. So this is why our path is so helpful, guys, because you can always tune into your spirit guides and just ask them. And they give you answers. And then you move. Okay? Sometimes they might tell you to do weird shit. I get it, right? Like in the moment, it doesn't make sense. So what am I, putting this feather into hot water for, right? Like Ryan G's example, right? He realized it later, what it meant. And he sent me an image. So what does this mean? I asked the guides, I did my research, and we found an answer. Okay, so this is how it works at times, guys. Just that these intuitive nudges that you lean into and you understand it better, right? Just work towards understanding it better. Okay. So any questions, guys? Anything coming up from this? No? Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. Okay. So what I want you to understand is your health is a spiritual foundation. When your body's vitality and energy levels are at critical levels, you cannot fight off negative forces. No freaking way, right? No freaking way, bro. Can't do it. It's gonna be like, so tired, right? I don't want to do it. Get away from me, right? Oh, again, the news. Just turn it off, right? I don't want to face that. I don't want to do that. Push this. So it's fight or flight, right? It's either rage. Why the hell the blah 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 blah. Creating what? Nervous system dysregulation. Okay, fragmentation over wholeness. So this is why we have to understand ourselves, right? We have to understand ourselves, guys. Because once we truly understand ourselves, we get it. We get this fight against darkness. It's about cultivating our joy and defending it, standing up for it, standing up, taking a stand for the good. Okay? Are you taking a stand for the good? All right? You gotta approach spirituality with a bit of ferocity. Okay? This is how you get these different things tapping in. Okay? You have to have influences that linger in your head like a dormant seed waiting to sprout. Right? There's a lot of people who are not understanding that you have to take the animal within you, the animalistic part of you, that kind of beast within, and make it conscious, the priestess beast. You guys get this? Give me a thumbs up. These are the stories I'm running for myself, right? What if you could see the most primal version of you? Try this with me right now. Close your eyes and see the most natural, primal, raw version of you without any makeup, without any like random, you know, you wear your best clothes or whatever. Just like white clothing, right? Completely at your element. What are you looking at? Who are you looking at? Right? What's your message to them? What is your message to them? Or what is their message to you? Just tune in and listen. Naturally, your body will relax. Why is that? Because your natural state is more natural, right? Than how you're feeling right now, perhaps. Okay. We got to understand that there is always this struggle between light and dark. You've seen it from movies like Star Wars. You've seen it in Yin Yang and Taoism. You've seen Satan and God in Christianity. You know, you've seen all of these different splits, good and evil, good and evil, good and evil, good and evil, over and over and over again. That your brain has associated what is good and evil now. And anything that appears somewhere in between, you get scared and you run away from it. People are nuanced. They aren't just 100% good, right? My mom likes to think so. I never do any negative things. What do you mean? I always try to be the most perfect and positive individual. Okay. Do rude words and pettiness make you cry? Okay. You break your trust with the government every time there's an election? Do you suddenly disappear into your woman cave or man cave every time a problem goes down? Right? Like these are really the things we got to be looking at, guys. And it's not easy. Who said it was? Okay. Who said it was easy? It's not easy. It becomes effortless through continued effort. Okay. And once you get this, you'll know how to be it. You'll know how to tap into this primal awareness. Okay. Think of an animal that you could be like, right? What could be an animal that you could be like? I tap into many different animals, even mythical ones, like the Makara, obviously, right? But then there's many others that I tap into. Okay. I tap into the dolphin energy at times, which taps into my undeniable playfulness and creativity. I sometimes tap into my tiger energy, which is my root chakra energy, right? So again, all of these animals are chakra totems that I work with, right? So the dragonfly is, of course, associated with my crown. And while I was attending the arati, the in Varanasi, the prayer for Shiva over there, the ritual that they do live, and all the boats watch from below. There's so many dragonflies in the air, you know? Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Also, so cool to see so many people from different countries come and, revel in the culture, you know? Understand that there is this, everybody clapping to Krishna's name and Shiva's name is mind-boggling to me when people are coming from France, Germany, Trinidad, Tobago, random places to come to Varanasi, right? And of course, you have all these, you know, Indian people, obviously from different parts too. But it's a cool thing to perceive and watch, right? What if you didn't change a single thing? What if you just rested and you saw what happened and then you adjusted instead of leaping to the moon and back, right? What if you have this capacity or capability? Okay. There's a playful joking where you can tap into your own sense of spiritual awareness. It's a dance, right? It's a dance. It's working with your own desire. It's working with your own passion. It's working with your own creativity and your mood, right? So if you want to experience your true desire and be able to be attractive, can't rush it. You know what I mean? You got to be playful. You got to be non-judgmental when it comes down to this, right? If you start perceiving so many restrictions and judgments from over-consuming red pill content, you are not going to be able to tap into the zone. Why? Because you're listening to what Fusi or Myron or these other people, these YouTubers are telling you, right? Rather than asking your higher self. Okay? Rather than asking your higher self. You know, you think, oh, damn, that cookie looks so delicious. I'm going to eat it. Okay? But that's a precondition. And you are expecting that you have to have it this way because it's how it's always been. It's my familiarity. Okay? There's nothing wrong with having a cookie now and then, right? That's fine. But we also have to understand our own inner awareness, our primal awareness. And once we have a connection with that, it's going, bro, what are you doing with yourself, man? Why are you not getting laid? Why aren't you going out? Why aren't you getting paid? Why aren't you amplifying, your survival and as a woman, your replication value, right? Why aren't you amplifying that? You know, it's important. It's important to be connected to our own health and power and fertility and not hide, you know? You know, this is not some kind of fast food. I know I had McDonald's. I shouldn't even be talking about this because that was the only food that we had to order last night. After I came back from that Varanasi trip, this like 45-minute, like the only restaurant that we found there. But we need to work with humanity and understand that, some of these apps aren't helping people at all. You know, it's almost advocating destruction of relationships, actually, dating apps, right? But also, doesn't mean you can't amplify that. Doesn't mean you can't use that in a healing way. Because if you're a healer, you'll be using things in a healing way, correct? You know when to use it and when to put it down. That's self-control. Okay. Well, understand that you can't simply program things with positive affirmations and sit back and just wait for miracles to happen. The nervous system has this huge power to control behavior subliminal, right? The brain has these simple behaviors and it gives us a sense of security or calm, especially when it gets older, right? When people are kind of fixed in on a specific way of thinking or like some specific stubborn thought that, but we can change the world by thinking differently because we're primates and much of our brain is based around status acquisition and signaling, being able to become a great person. Obviously, there's more subtlety to this. But if I see images of what I eat, images of what I politically support, I'm creating reward chemicals. I'm demonstrating I'm a part of this group, right? Other people will like me more. So the primal part of your brain believes that I will be able to attract a certain mate. So the primate part of your brain believes that this is the absolute standard, right? And that you will find all apes doing the same thing all day long. But you ain't no monkey, my friend. You're a higher consciousness monkey. This is why you're priest. Okay? This is not ooh, ooh, ah, ah. This is a return of Wunke. Okay? Just like that meme. So you kind caught up in a addictive pattern. You're creating certain brain chemicals, and the biochemical basis of your activities can be found in grooming, status, evolutionary aspects of your ancestry, and you'll find that your brain is saying, oh my God, why can't I just leave this world behind, man? This is such a depressing place. But then your brain just perceived a threat to its natural supply of feel-good chemicals. You're posturing to come up with some belief to say that ideology works, but it's very unlikely to solve our problems because no one actually does ideology with intention anyway. you know? So we have to understand that there is a spiritual science to all of this. Okay? What is attractive to our higher self would not be attractive to our egos. There are two main categories of what we're attracted to. Either we're attracted to what is the God within us, what is divinity, or we're attracted to our karma, something that's wounded, right? This is why similar people just stay in wounded patterns. Okay? So these are the two main reasons why we're attracted. Okay? Of course, there's sub themes to this, and it isn't so cut and dry. What I'm telling you is what's pulling you, right? What is the algorithm guiding you towards? It has its agenda, it has its incentive, right? It's got to make money somehow. Hey, right? It's got to provide a living. You got to keep going and doing that, right? So we got to figure out these different ways that we're going to be able to use this thing. Understand that once you notice that the metaphysical world is your original home, this offers you greater peace of perspective. Quantum is my home. Okay. This is some maybe too vibrant for some of you to understand this dynamic plane of expression. And that's okay. You can always ask questions. You can always, create a more bold, dynamic approach. And if you are interested, we have a 5-day challenge coming up in November, okay, for the Savage Shaman. So if you are interested in that, also shoot me a message because it'll be 5 days. You'll get an email each day, and you just got to sign up, okay? Very powerful. So back to the topic at hand, okay? Back to the topic at hand. We're still at Orgone October, remember. So we're working with our vitality, with our energy. If you look up certain bioenergetic practices and exercises, okay? If you do very easy bioenergetic practices, okay? Muffled, like, look, I'll give you a few examples here, okay? there's certain positions that bring up your traumas in your body. So doing trauma release exercises actually gets you to open up that orgone within you. Okay. So look up bioenergetic exercises. This is an example. This is the one Ryan G dreads. Okay. This is for the oral archetype. But anyway, it's really good for everybody who faces, codependence, clinging, neediness behaviors. Just putting your legs up like this, right? And just holding it, right? Just kind of twisting the legs back, feeling into the muscles, just like keeping it there is so, so key and so, so powerful. And it's simple. Okay. Let's see some of these other ones. A Saturday morning, bioenergetics. Okay, we're on Monday, guys. Okay, real cool ones here. I love this where you put just a few things underneath your chest, your back, and you have this little uh it pulls your stomach out like this so you can get more intimate and feel into the deeper recesses of your body. So that's where we hold a lot of tension and emotions, right? In our lower body too. So we have to bring it up, right, into our higher chakras to be able to truly flourish and flow with it all. Okay. In the beginning of this journey, I didn't know any of this stuff. I had to learn it the hard way by making mistakes, by going through the process, trial and error. And I did it, you know. It wasn't easy. But again, everybody would be just jacked, enlightened, and, you know, super charismatic right off the get-go, right? Super rich right off the get-go. No, right? There was a process that unfolded, and it was with your communion with God that you made the biggest amount of money. Am I right or am I right? Okay. So really, you are awakening the God within you by letting go of the wounding within you. Okay. So these practices, like if you have anger issues, this is such a good one. Just biting, You know how animals bite, dogs growl? Tuning into that. So, so powerful, right? So, so powerful. What about wall sits like this? Okay. As soon as this gets tiring, you get up like this. Then you do it again. Then you do it again, right? This is actually going to release a lot of trauma from the lower body. Okay. So we need to find a way to understand body-mind dynamics. And we can actually use this brilliant model. Hold on. Let me see if I have a better picture of this actually. This is a different language or what's going on here? Okay, it's the same link over and over again. Hold on, guys. There are a few other ones, but yeah, this one is really good. You might have seen this one in low training, right? Not a lot of people can do this, but if you can do this one, I highly recommend it. Highly, highly recommend it. Okay. All right. Very, very powerful. If your body's this flexible, go and do this. Okay. Very powerful. Now, if you have something like this, just giving you an imagery example, something you can keep on your back and you can roll on, it'll be very, very useful. Okay. So usually it's kind of a bowstring type of movement, right? But this movement is so, so important for opening up all your central channel so you can express yourself more charismatically, more expressively out, right? And this is the stuff that I teach guys. So it's very, very powerful to be able to actually use the mind with the body healing together. And this is what Reich really believed, right? So let's use these doctrines, these keys, cultivating your blissapline, protecting your prana, using the spiritual tools not for escape, but as an embrace, harmony being complementary, and the quantum being where you live. Now you're a shadow dancer, baby. Okay. The darkness has not no more clutch on you. It doesn't have, chains around you anymore. Why? Because you're making it your bitch, right? Darkness, you're just a little flea compared to me now. Why? Because I have the light of the Buddha within me, right? I have the Holy Ghost within me. I have that energy within me, right? From the Sanatan Dharma, from the Tao. I have all of that within me and it's swimming in my internal waters. So I'm going to now create an incredible tsunami with my wisdom and compassion and ferocity so that we can stay rooted with depth and rise in power. Let's get it to the Upward Spiral gang. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. I really appreciate all of you. Just some gratitude towards the Primal Sutra family. Thank you. Thank you.